Hey guys, welcome to another driving video. So today is going to be a little bit different from what you're used to seeing. So what you're watching here is like a mock test would say. So what it is here is at the moment I know some of you would have probably come into this situation where your instructor have told you you are not ready for the test or you're not up to the standard to go for the test. And I often would do that as well because I have had to turn people down for tests because I felt like their driving wasn't up to standard yet. So that's why I'm making this kind of videos so that you come along with me and see how I actually make the decisions on who I feel is up to the standard for me to be able to take on a test, and a learner who I feel like is literally not up to the standard and has a lot more work to do, or maybe some more work to do um, that is important to their ability to pass the test. So yeah, because sometimes it's not actually a simple matter of fail or pass, because some people would fail a mock test and I'll still say, yeah, you're actually good enough to go for the test, and someone else might pass a mock test and I still feel like, you know, maybe they're not ready yet. And sometimes it's just a matter of the time as well, or situations around. But it's very unlikely though that you'd pass a mock test and I still feel like you are not ready. But sometimes, I mean, it could be the case. But I haven't actually dealt with that situation yet. But it does happen. That's what I'm saying. Because some days you can do very well today and not so good tomorrow. And that's what I'm trying to say. So you could have passed a mock test today and we have a lesson tomorrow, and then the next after, and then the next after, and you're not actually performing up to the standard of the previous mock, if that makes sense. So today is Monday, the 22nd of May, 2023, and the time it's 10 a.m. at the time we're starting, or we started this video. So if your test is at Hither Green, this is what the traffic situation would be like if you're having your test around this time. So yep, our learner today has agreed for me to record this video and post it on YouTube. But I didn't remember to confirm if she will be happy for me to use a real name. So for that reason, we're going to be using Patricia for this video. So she's got an upcoming test, and we want to check if she's ready or not. So let us go in and see how it goes. So yep, at the start here, apparently when we pulled up, she hit the curb, and the first thing you're watching here is going to be my explanation to what happened there, because she did feel like she had failed because she hit the curb, and I actually felt otherwise because I didn't really think of that's a big deal, but she thought so. So I just decided to take my time to explain that. So if this is you as well and you're always worrying about maybe you fail as soon as you hit the curb, then watch this.
Into wide.
I knew you were gonna hit the curb, but I wanted you to hit it anyway. Now the reason why I let you hit it, and this is why I say to everyone, because some people be like, oh, I hit the curb, oh my god, I thought I failed, but I passed. Or someone will be like, oh my god, I hit the curb, that's why I failed. And the question is, what's the two difference between the two of them? And that's what happened now. And that's why. So I let you do it because luckily your speed was fine. So you know, even if you hit it, will just be minimal impact. Some people want to pull up and the car is going too fast, and I'll be like that. I'll be like, but I wasn't going to. I said, no, the car is moving too fast. I'm not going to wait and see what happens, because if you hit it, it's going to be too harsh on the car.
Yeah.
So that's what makes a difference. You've got to remember, slow down the law when you're pulling up.
Yeah.
So that even if you're going to hit any curb, it's going to be very minor that the examiner will just ignore it. That's why I started and let you hit my car on the curb. And they'll be like, because the speed is fine. I know that impact will be, the tire will be able to hold on to it. It's like you guys make too much mirror checks that you forget to plan of what's in front of you. First thing, you forgot you're coming to pull up on a bend.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at that mirror, you're going to have space there, because the road comes like this and goes like that.
That's right.
So when it goes like this, your tire is already almost on the curb in front, but the space you're seeing behind It's because the road is moving back away from your car. So front is already on the curb, but you're now using that to judge. Oh, I have a lot of more space, so I need to keep bringing it more to the left.
I get what you're saying. That was exactly
And
the
that's
problem.
why you did that.
Yeah.
I know it's a bending, so let me focus in front first. When I sort out the front, then I'll see what I have left behind. But you guys worry about the back
This is
first.
what my instructor is always saying, that I shouldn't look back when I'm trying to park.
Thank
We
you.
look forward.
Look forward.
I remember he
when
says
you
that a lot.
straighten your car
Yeah.
up, then you can check. If you have space left, look forward, adjust a bit,
again.
check again. But most people go. So yeah, that was my only little advice on that situation that just happened. And now let's us get on the road and see if she is ready for the test or not. And as you would see here, we are now having the nerves and anxiousness kicking just as she knows she's about to be monitored. Started. There you go. So you didn't turn the car off, you only put it in park when you stopped, so still on. Now, as Patricia moved off, she went halfway into the road and then did a last check over her shoulder again. And this is one of the common thing people do, which is really not necessary because you're moving into the road now and you should be focusing on what is ahead of you. You were halfway, you're already in the road, almost next to this car, and you looked over your shoulder while the car was still moving. There's nothing as dangerous as that. You were so close to that car while you did over that. Don't worry, I haven't failed you. I just wanted to point it out quickly. So keep that in mind. Once you moved into the road, just focus in front.
Okay.
Ask yourself what the point of your checks were before moving off. If you're going to be moving into the road and yet still looking over your shoulder while your car is moving forward, this is not safe because if anything was to change in front of you while you're looking over your shoulder, even though moving forward, you wouldn't have enough time to react to that situation. And in this case, we were already very close to the car parked up in front of us to the right as the bonnet went so close to that car. So keep this in mind.
Road or something like that.
Okay, well, don't worry. Let's finish bad cutting corners. So you see that?
Yeah.
Bad. But we see it on a day. See what impact that had on you.
I have to slow down.
Exactly. Sometimes you might even have to stop. At this junction, Patricia got a serious fault because she started rolling forward before the van approaching from the right had completely left the front of the car. Although she managed to stop the car before I reached for the brake, that was still a dangerous move. So we're going to turn left again right there. And then turn right at the end of this road at the junction.
After 80 yards, turn right, Ennisdale Road, then turn right, Arlington Close.
On getting to this junction, Patricia positions well to the right as this road we are on at the moment is a one-way road. And this allows any vehicles who wants to turn left enough space to be able to do so. Once you turn right, then I like you to just follow the sat nav.
Turn right.
So it wants to take us into the test center and then start the route all over because that's where the test center.
Then turn right, Ennisdale Road.
So see the arrow again? See what I was saying?
Yeah.
So that's for the road on the left,
on the
but the school is on the left.
Yeah.
Patricia is able to have moderate conversation while driving and still able to concentrate on the driving. And this is very good because it shows confidence and ability to multitask while you're driving. So keep that in mind. It's a very good thing to be able to do. But if you're not able to do this either, it's not a problem. So just stay calm, focus, and concentrate. At times, your examiner might try to have a conversation with you or bring up a conversation. That's just because you're trying to not make the atmosphere so quiet and nerve-wracking for you. So, if that's not you and you'd rather be left alone, then just best thing is to just not respond. An examiner would understand that you're obviously not able to multitask and have a conversation, and it's not a problem. So yeah, focus on your driving. Or if you actually want to respond but you're dealing with a situation ahead of you, then again, you either just ignore it and respond once you're done, or just, say 1 minute please, and that's it.
Sorry. No, sorry, continue.
You want me to go this way?
It's like, don't worry.
After 80 yards, turn around when possible, then turn left.
So go straight and turn, sorry, turn right and then left.
Ah, okay.
So that road over there. And then you can continue with the segment.
At the end of the road, turn right, Manor Lane, then turn left. Turn right, Manor Lane, then turn left, Mitchell Ever Road.
Patricia peeps and creeps safely into the road at this junction because of the parked cars to our right, restricting visibility into the road, and this is well done.
Turn right, A2212, Roundabout Road.
Go now.
Yep, sounds good. So,
Well, don't rush it. See, that is what we know we have enough time to be able to move safely before that cyclist or any of the other cars get there.
okay.
So why rush it? And then you then go boop, and then you do that last quick check again when you're already in that space.
I should do the last picture.
Don't do it. You're always doing that last
Okay.
check again when you've already entered the road.
Okay.
It's
It's before you
Because
enter that you check.
So you've looked, then you've then moved, and as you're moving in there, you've looked again, which was good. But once you start, at what point would you actually focus in front of you
Yeah.
and deal with the situation in the road you're turning into? So you've got to have that balance.
Okay.
Don't overlook.
I remember I had the same problems with my instructor. He said I wasn't looking enough. I
That's the
wasn't
problem.
observing
Sometimes
enough.
they say you're not
So-
observing. Now you are now going to
Now,
do
I want
overdoing
to
it,
overdo.
and it becomes unsafe.
Yeah.
Remember that when you get to a junction, you stop and do your observation. The purpose of this is to make sure that you are happy and know that it is safe for you to move on into the road. So the question then becomes, why then do you make a decision to decide to go through? You make a decision that it is safe to enter into the road, but yet you keep looking over your shoulders even when you've entered into the road, like if it wasn't safe, like if someone else made the decision for you, whom you don't trust, that you had to double check yourself again, even when you've now entered into the road. You're second guessing your own decision. And the problem with this now is that you're moving into the road, you are now losing focus of the road you're actually turning into. And if you continue doing this, and you end up doing this on a busy road where there's so many things happening in front of you on the road you're going into, and you're looking over your shoulders, things could change in a second or in a blink of an eye. So keep this in mind. And this is a situation where you become too cautious with your observations or with your checking. It's like you don't even know what you're doing anymore. You're making decisions, but yet it looks like you're not the one making those decisions. So keep that in mind. Don't overlook. Started to the test center.
Okay.
So that's when you're supposed to finish the route.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one is the current
In
time.
10 minutes.
This is when we expect to
Be back.
be
Oh,
finishing
okay. I
the
get
routes
it.
you're
Yeah, I
doing.
get it. I
Yeah.
get it.
So of course it's past 10, as I told you, going to the left.
Yeah, yeah.
Patricia shows good use of her mirror checks and does this well mostly through the lesson. Why would a disabled person cross the road at that point
At
when
that
you
rate.
have the traffic light there on a
Exactly.
40-mile dual
Exactly.
carriageway?
I was thinking same that is there no traffic
It's literally 3
pedestrian
yards away
traffic
there.
light
After
there?
400 yards, cross the roundabout, second exit,
Okay.
A205, West Thorand Avenue.
So to make it more useful for you, it's a mock test, but I always like, because this might only be my move view before your test. So I like to point out those things while you're actually doing the mock
Okay.
test. One thing you're doing so far that you need to work on is you're stopping. You're not checking your interior mirror before you
Oh.
brake. So like when you slowed up for that
Okay.
pedestrian, it was fine, but you didn't look behind you.
Okay.
Because someone could have been behind you running so close and you just start slowing down, you don't know. So remind yourself, it's so you know how your braking is going to affect those behind, so you know how you're going to brake up when you're going to do it.
Cross
Going
the
straight at the
roundabout,
roundabout.
second exit, A205, West Thorand Avenue.
Patricia practiced good lane discipline at the roundabout. As she moved into the roundabout, she steers to keep left and remain in the left lane. Remember that when you keep your steering straight as you stop and wait at the junction, and you remain like that and enter the roundabout, you're more likely going to be ending up in the middle lane. And this is where you do lane straddling and end up failing for that. Unless if you're lucky enough for some reason, maybe no one is around you and your examiner decides to just ignore that and mark it as a minor fault. But many times, especially when the roundabout is busy, this is more likely going to be a serious fault. So keep this in mind, and she done this very well.
Cross Cross the roundabout, second exit, A205, West Thorand Avenue.
Very good.
Take the exit, A205, Thorand Avenue.
Don't overlook either. I said when you're braking in terminal, but for the past few minutes I've been seeing you've been checking that mirrors like mad. So, just relax.
God, wait till we go through to satisfy people.
I explain that when you finish. So make a bit more progress.
Yeah, okay. This road is a test, isn't
Yes.
it? Yeah.
It's really understanding when you need to check your mirror, why you're checking your mirrors. And I mean, if you're just driving through on every
I'm just checking my usual normal checks. Anyway.
Yeah, so if that's your usual check,
going to
cut
say-
it a little bit.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll explain at the end, so don't worry.
Turn left, A2.
That's not. I
Alright.
shouldn't have signal.
Checking your mirrors frequently and effectively is very, very important. But overdoing it can also become a problem. And this is very common sometimes because sometimes people get failed for not checking frequently enough. And then because of that, they start checking even too much. Remember that there's no point driving forward, and most of the time, your mind is backwards. And this is the problem because the more you check your mirrors, even when you don't need to, you start to lose attention and focus on what is actually happening in front of you. So you need to have a good balance to understand when to check your mirrors, when not to. Give yourself a time, maybe like your interior mirrors, every 10 seconds or 8 seconds or so, just take that quick glance up and focus back in front of you. Your side mirrors, if you need to change direction, then yeah, check your side mirrors. If you need to check your positioning to see your lines and all that, then check it. Fine. Have a purpose, have a reason for doing that. Don't just make a sequence and create a timing left, right, interior. 2 seconds again, left, right, interior, and on like that. This is what you don't want to do.
You need to increase speed. Increase speed now and going. Now, don't look mirror again, just going. Good. And I encourage you to go practice more on the slip roads. Yeah. If you get yourself that slow on the slip road, you might struggle very much to pull up, especially if you're going to be doing it on a manual car. If you go and end up that slow there, keeping yourself back up, changing gears and all that, it'll be difficult. It's manual.
Manual. You can tell.
Yes. Wrong gear.
Yeah. For the speed.
Yes.
Being aware of what other road users are doing and preparing to do something about it is very important when you're driving. Now, as we cross the slide, the lane becomes 2 lanes from 3 lanes. And at that point, the truck and our vehicle starts to get closer to each other. And Patricia had made no attempt to try and move away from that truck, even though we had some space on the left.
Now, look at your oppressor. So then look at your oppressor. Slow down a bit now. See? So once something is beside you and you're hearing and you're still like that.
After 800 yards,
Yeah, no, I'm not
take
going
the
to look
exit
at you. You're not going to get to
towards
me.
central London.
It's getting
Go
to
left
you.
on the roundabout.
If it's not getting to
First
you,
exit.
look at it.
Should I have
Because
looked at it then?
you need to.
And again, I would repeat, as you can see, Patricia is able to have a good conversation and still stays focused and attention on the road. And when she tries to actually over focus, she doesn't drive any better. So keep this in mind. Stay calm, relax. If you have things around you, look around to know what is going on beside you. Because sometimes it could be that another driver is driving too close towards your vehicle and it becomes unsafe. That if you are aware of it, if you were able to just take that quick glance to your window to see what is beside you on your left or right, and then check your mirror to see where you've got space. You might just be able to save the day. You might just be able to avoid a situation from happening. So sometimes I do say this is nerves. Sometimes I say it's maybe anxiousness, or it could just be, I don't know, just trying to mind your business and focus in front of you. But whatever the case is, make attempt. Try and come out of that mindset. Look beside you and see what can be done or what is going on around you so that you can prepare yourself to take action if need be. So keep this in mind, and this is why we've had to get a serious for this is why I've had to give a serious fault for that situation, because I had to actually pull her away from that situation. That if you look back, you would see that we did get quite close as that truck pulls away from the right hand side just to move away from the barrier in the middle of the road. So keep this in mind.
After 200 yards, turn left, B212, Shooters Hill Road. Turn left, B212, Shooters Hill Road.
Didn't realize you needed to signal left then.
I didn't.
Because it was a junction, isn't it?
Yeah, true.
And we'll
I
be
should
taking a
have.
left one.
Yeah, I should have.
Patricia did not notice the first 20-mile sign we passed as we entered into this road. But I ignored it because I was pointing out the first mistake at the junction. So that could have been a distraction to her. So to be on a fair side, I would ignore that because she did pick up the next sign after that one. At this traffic light, Patricia stops behind the stop line, keeping the crossing clear for pedestrians. But unfortunately, as the traffic moves off ahead, she had forgotten to check the traffic light before moving off. So I stopped the car. Now, as those pedestrians passed, the light changes to green, and she hasn't noticed again has changed to green, and she's waiting for another pedestrian to cross.
Go on now. Go on. No, go on, it's green.
Sorry. Oh God, what's wrong with
After
me?
200 yards,
Like, was that
go
still
right
on
on
red
the
and I was gonna
roundabout.
move?
Third
Yes.
exit, B220,
Who
the
does that?
terrace.
I like you saying that. Who does that?
And at this traffic light, Patricia started moving off while a pedestrian was still crossing on the road.
No, you
Guess
can go.
what?
Go now.
This one is a big fail.
So we're turning right at the
Yeah.
roundabout. Third
Mhm.
exit.
Go right on the roundabout. Third exit, B220, the terrace.
So these be the nerves they're talking about?
Yes, that's the nerve we're talking about.
At this tiny mini roundabout, ignore the paint on the floor and just drive over it. As long as you're not driving on the other side of it. Because trying to steer around it like Patricia had done can be very misleading and confusing to other drivers on your opposite direction. They might as well think you're going straight or at worst turning left.
Wait. That's right on an island. How are you gonna pass that safely in that distance?
I wasn't gonna go, I was just trying to increase my speed.
To do what then? What are you gonna increase the speed for if you're not gonna go?
Can I go past now?
You have to find this pulling out.
Yeah.
So remind yourself, you're not going to work, you're not going to church, you're not doing school runs, so why are you trying to rush yourself? Examiners put you wherever time we reach there, just drive safely. Get there. And then the mini roundabout, then you went first towards the paint and then you swinged it left to avoid the paint. Don't worry, you see it when I upload it, so you get to see. So you do some unnecessary steering sometimes, and I wanted to leave it to last to talk about it, but when after doing this one, I just couldn't hold it again. So now you can pass. Go on.
After 200 yards,
You
turn
got me by the
left,
bush.
Random Road,
Do you really need to
then
go that
turn
fast,
right,
Basa?
Belmont
You have
Park.
enough space. There's nothing coming towards us, so there's time to go free nicely and slow
Turn
down.
left,
Turn left.
Random Road, then turn right, Belmont Park.
There you go. So I try not to mention the minor things when you drive, and I just mention the serious one. But once the minors becomes frequent, I'll mention it.
Yeah.
So that you get to see exactly where you're doing them.
After 200 yards, turn right, Belmont Park. Then, at the end of the road, turn left, A20, E15, Lehigh Road. Turn right, Belmont Park. Then, at the end of the road, turn left, A20, E15, Lehigh Road.
I should turn right here. Turn right here, okay.
At the end of the road, turn left, A20, E15, Lehigh Road, then turn right, Eastbound Park.
So I'm going to change your route a little bit. So when you turn left, continue straight,
Okay.
and I'll direct you from there. So on a normal day, the test now you'd have turned right to east down the park, and then back to the test center. That would have been the end.
Okay.
So at this point, we will be ending the marking point here. So I just want to take her on a different route to see how she will deal with the situation, particularly at Clifton's roundabout. So let's continue.
So I'm turning left.
Yep. And then continue straight. I think that traffic light one.
I'm still thinking. How did I
I think
exactly what I
I
was
think
just.
I'm gonna that one I'm gonna upload it on a
God.
short clip. I say free. That's very serious fault in about 3
I
seconds.
froze. What was wrong with me? Seriously.
Because the problem is, you got that you did the right thing perfectly. You noticed the traffic last minute, fine. So you went on a break. I could have done that earlier or more safer, but that was fine. No problem there. You waited behind the light while it was green because there was traffic in front of us. You didn't want to block the crossway, which was brilliant. Now the light went on red. Perfect.
Yeah.
We just keep waiting, no problem. But at that point now, your mind has now forgotten why you're now at the light. So eventually, when the man now finished crossing, in your mind now it's still on green, and you start to move.
I think
Then
so.
I stopped you.
I think so. You know how to read minds, isn't it? Oh,
Then I
God.
stopped you. Then the man finished crossing.
Oh.
You still haven't woken back up to realize why I stopped you. So you still want to cross again. So I stopped you again. That's your second serial fault in the same place. So then we passed it. We got to the next light. The light is red. People are crossing. Good. Then Pelican crossing as usual. It started to flash amber.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with you going while it's flashing amber, but there's still a lady in front of you still on the crossing.
I was gonna wait for. Well, I was gonna wait for her anyway.
But you did not wait.
I mean, the moment I saw her, I was gonna wait.
Yeah, but you should have seen her all the way coming from there, all the way to your front here. And that's the sad part of the exam of the story. It's too late. Yeah, your intention, I know you would have waited, but you didn't.
You didn't show like you were gonna wait.
But it's not you didn't show you were gonna wait. You weren't going to wait because your class was not moving enough. So that was the point there. So that was 3 serious faults at that short time.
My God.
And that's, like I said, where the mind comes in. The mind was frozen at that first light.
I agree.
And it just flowed on.
Yeah, I agree.
So we're going to continue straight at this traffic light.
Okay.
Sometimes, like you say, yeah, you're not nervous, but overthinking causes all this as well. You overthink that your brain explodes.
Yay, that was bad.
You know.
Really, really bad. Can't imagine that. I did that. Yeah, you're right. It was still on green. I could have gone, but the road was already
you
narrow.
did the right
I
thing,
didn't want
so
to
you
go on the
waited, yeah.
pedestrian.
So yeah, that was the right thing.
Yeah.
But then it then changed to red.
Yeah.
And that was the main
Then they
reason why
moved.
you waited, which was
Yeah.
good. So now they can actually cross without us blocking them while it's now on red. But it's on. So to you now in your mind is like the man is just crossing while the traffic is on. That's to you. That was what you are reading. At that traffic light, try and check your mirror, or at least what's beside you, just before you get into that bend, so that you know if they're coming closer to you or not, or you need to do something. Because sometimes people come very close from the middle end because they're trying to avoid the cars turning right.
Oh,
Yes, so they might come close to you, which might force you to maybe need to slow down or even push a little left as well. But if you're not aware of these things, you just sit in the same place. And if you looked at me, you probably see me looking there. That's because I'm trying to make sure I focus properly in case I need to drag your wheel away from that white car there. But you did check the mirror. I mean, sorry, you did check your side, but it was after the white car passed you. But the white car was my problem.
Oh, okay.
So I needed to know that you were aware of what that white car is doing.
Okay.
But you're just focused in front and, you know. Sometimes not the mirror, it's just your window. Just look to your window and see what's beside you.
Okay.
So me diverting your route now, which is finished. It's just me doing extra testing now on some things that you've not been able to do on the route.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why we do it this way. So at the traffic lights ahead, turn right, please. We can call it a bonus track.
Okay.
At this traffic light ahead of us, you can actually turn right using both the middle lane and the right lane. So unless if your examiner tells you to remain or use the right lane, or you know you're turning right at Clifton's roundabout, then I would suggest you use the middle lane. Because when you turn right using the right lane and you're actually supposed to be going straight at Clifton's roundabout, then you would have to find a way to get yourself back into the left lane. So keep that in mind. But if you're turning right at Clifton's, then yeah, it's totally fine. I'll probably obviously tell you to use the right lane so that you can remain on the right lane to approach Clifton's and then turn right. So keep that in mind at the roundabout. And when you're using the middle lane, be very careful. Make sure you get to the middle of this yellow box here before steering too much to turn right, because otherwise you might end up forcing other cars on your right to slow down because you get too close to them.
You're now moving off. Why are you rushing yourself?
I wanted to quickly go before they get to me.
Don't do it. Remember I told you if you have to want to be quick before they do it, that means don't do it.
Okay.
Now you
Sure.
can go. Go on. So they take it. Now go on. Gently. See, that's what I'm saying. That rush,
Isn't
you don't need
necessary.
it. Not necessary.
Okay.
Not necessary. Continue round. Continue
Let's
around.
continue.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Continue around. Just continue around.
Okay.
If this is continue around. Continue around. Continue around. Keep moving. Around. Now signal left. And then middle. Keep moving. Go on. Look forward. See, that's a problem. You're focusing too much on the mirror. How are you going to know when you need to actually move? See, now continue straight. Now make progress. You know why I said continue around?
No.
So coming to exit,
Mm-hmm.
you're now just right at your exit, but you're still on the right hand side of the road.
Oh, okay.
At the round, you're still in the third lane. That won't be safe to go straight. You'll be literally going straight from the third lane. Now, in the test, of course, you looked around, it's safe, they'll let you go through it, but
Is it safe?
serious fault. Yeah, because
Really?
you can't be exiting from the right lane when that lane
I was trying
is
to
clear.
change my lane though.
You should have done
At
that
that point.
before you got to that point. Check my video on the Clifton's roundabout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Am I going straight?
Continue straight. I'm sure you know this place, isn't it? Yeah. Make sure you transition, but be wary of the drivers on the right, because some of them. So again, that wasn't necessary. You just continue straight, and then it just becomes one, isn't it? So you come like it's a 2-lane road when it's literally just coming to one. So you just go straight into it, and it becomes.
So they say, okay, maybe because there were no cars beside me, right? Because usually it's a 2-lane coming up. So they say because of the other cars, you should just position yourself to the bus stop.
Yeah, but you know why you had that problem though?
Why?
It's the same problem you're doing with your steering, like I said earlier on.
My steering.
But when you turn out, so we're gonna turn right into this road.
Okay.
So that's when I take us to your place, isn't
Yeah.
it? Go on. So, now it's late. There you go. So that's it. The one that you can take safely, you don't take it. And the one you shouldn't take, These are the ones you want to take. But even when you take
Can
them,
I
you
go?
rush. You can go here. Well, how many seconds did it take this truck to get here? Now move on and count. Don't rush it. 1, 2. Do you get my point there? It took us 2 seconds to actually cross into the road, and it took us 6 seconds to wait for that truck to get there. And that's just the point.
Hesitation.
Hesitation.
Ah. Are you ready? Oh, I'm not sure. I hope so.
You know, the funny twist is, so when is your test?
25th of June.
25th of June. Are you ready like you asked?
Am I ready?
Are you ready?
So, guys, we have now reached the end of the mock and the lessons. Now, to answer the main question for this video, is she ready for the test? Now, it is very obvious for everyone when you see 4 serious faults, and I think it was 6 or so or 5 minor faults, to assume this learner is not ready. But I actually would disagree. Now, sitting in the car and watch her drive, Patricia is actually ready for a test. The standard of driving is good enough to go for a test. It's just a matter of, she has 75% of good driving, and she would need 25% of luck, if you get what I mean. So if she had gone through a different test route, maybe she would have actually aced this driving mock test. But unfortunately, I put her through a particular route that I know is one of the toughest. And this is the point. There's no point going through the easiest route on a mock test or, on an assessment, and then you get through it brilliantly, and then you end up on your test and you end up with the very difficult one, and then you break down. So this is how I do the testing to see how prepared someone is. But a normal day, her driving is actually very good. Driving is good. She's able to hold on a conversation and still pay attention on the road. Most of the time, she makes mistakes are actually when she's trying to over focus or over concentrate, or sometimes when she just gets mind block, like the traffic light situation. You can watch back to that video to that point, and you'd see that as she stopped at the light, she was thinking through some things, or probably not even thinking at all. You just get to the light, you stop, and you're now thinking of your dinner or your lunch, or what happened at work yesterday. And then you notice the traffic in front of you starts to move, and off you go. But you had forgotten that you stopped in front of a light. So that's a very common one. So always remind yourself. And this is why it's always a good idea, it's always a good habit to always look around you before you move off. Keep your mind focused at why you are waiting and what caused you to wait in the first place. So keep this in mind. But driving generally, yes, I would happily take her on a test. And this has happened a couple of times, or actually many times. It's very, very difficult, or it's very, very few learners actually take a mock test and I pass them. It's very, 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 very few. So, but at the end of the day, many of them go and pass. So that's the case, and that's my point. I'd rather prepare you with the worst or for the worst, so that when the worst meets you, you're prepared for it. And if the simplest of all meets you, then it's just a bonus. So that's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you've got any questions, leave the comment below. And don't forget, guys, click the like button so that others gets to see this video. And if you want to get a go at this, then leave a comment below or contact me through my other channels, I believe Facebook or WhatsApp. So that's it, and I would see you in the next video. Have a good day, stay safe, and best of luck with your driving test.